Welcome to WhatGear Reviews, tech reviews coming to you from the UK. And a while ago I made a video about how future mid-range smartphones were about to get superpowers. Well, that time is now, and this phone right here is the Realme 8 Pro, and there are quite a few areas where this phone can stand up to the likes of the mighty Apple iPhone 12 Pro Max and Samsung's Galaxy S21 Ultra. But before I get into all of that, I'm going to run through some of the key specs that you guys need to know about, and then I will reveal the price. And when we get to that point, let me know if you're surprised or not. So powering the Realme 8 Pro is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 720G chipset. You can get this phone with 6GB of RAM or 8GB of RAM, and the internal storage is 128GB, although it does have a hybrid SIM card tray, which means you can expand the memory if you run out. And that's a feature that the S21 doesn't have and the Apple iPhone doesn't have. The display on the Realme 8 Pro is a 6.4-inch Super AMOLED with a 90Hz refresh rate, which is 30Hz faster than an iPhone 12 Pro Max screen. The touch sampling rate is 180Hz, which means this phone is great for gaming on, very responsive to touch. And the battery inside this device is a 4,500 mAh cell, and it charges with 50-watt dart charging. Now here's where it gets really interesting. While all of the other manufacturers are stripping the phone chargers out of their boxes, Realme are doing something very different and quite opposite in fact. They actually give you a 65-watt dart charger when the phone actually only uses 50-watt dart charging. So they're giving you more than you actually need, and they're doing this because this can actually charge a lot of the other products in the Realme ecosystem. So that's nice. They're going way above what everyone else is doing and giving you more. So if you saw my unboxing video, you probably already got a look at the camera module on this phone, and you've got 4 shooters. So you've got a macro shooter, you've got a portrait shooter, an ultra wide, and then of course the crown jewel, the Samsung 108 ISO sensor. And that 108 sensor allows for 9-in-1 pixel binning, which means it takes 9 pixels and combines all of the detail into 1 pixel, essentially giving you a better picture. And we'll get into that a bit later on in the video. Stick around for that. Now check this out, a 3.5mm headphone jack, a feature that neither the iPhone or the S21s have at the moment. That supports high-res audio via a wire, which is still the most stable and highest quality method of getting audio from a device to your headphones. Although I did hear there is some new Qualcomm tech coming which is going to upscale the Bluetooth quality we're going to get. So make sure you keep an eye on this channel for more info on that coming soon. So let me take you on a tour of the design of the Realme 8 Pro, and the back is an AG crystal with a two-tone effect and a frosted finish. And Realme have even added in fluorescent aspects here, and Realme's explanation of how they achieved this finish is nothing short of mind-blowing. It's super thin at 8.1mm and it's very light too at 176 grams. The bezels around the Super AMOLED display are very thin, especially on the left and the right and the top bezel. At the bottom of the device we do have a bit of a chin there, but when you've got the dark mode on, the full dark mode, you actually don't notice that a lot of the time. And I really like the indented ridges that run across the top and bottom of the device. Kind of reminds me of a blade. And the left edge of the device houses the hybrid SIM tray, and on the right hand side you have the volume rocker and power button. And at the bottom of the device you have the headphone jack, the speaker grill, the charging port, and also dual microphones, which means better voice call quality, which is what phones were originally all about. Now the camera module on the back does protrude a little bit. It's got that two-step design very similar to that seen on the iPhone, which means when it's flat on a table you do get a little bit of table wobble. Not a massive problem though, but it is something I noticed. So my personal opinion on the Realme 8 Pro's design is that it's quite a unique and distinctive looking phone. It's very eye-catching, and the bold slogan on the back isn't going to be for everybody, but I actually quite like it. And in terms of the look and feel, it's quite refreshing to use a device that's this thin and this light, and although the back cover is plastic, or glastic as Samsung like to call it, it doesn't feel like a cheap phone to me. Now let's talk about some of the other features that I think you guys will really like here. And one of them being the fact that it's running on Android 11 straight out of the box, which means anybody who's used a Samsung device or any other Android device in the past will feel at home here with the operating system. But here's where you can make it your own. This phone has the latest Realme UI 2.0, which is a skin on top of Android, and it brings a ton of customization tweaks that you can play around with. And again, this is something that companies like Apple will never, ever let you do. So it's really great that they give you this kind of freedom here. The screen's 90Hz refresh rate makes scrolling and gaming really nice and smooth. It does adapt on the fly, so when you don't need that 90Hz refresh rate, it will scale that back in order to save battery. The brightness output is very respectable, and the colors and detail on the screen are really nice thanks to that 409 pixel per inch Samsung Super AMOLED display. And the display is not the only thing that they've borrowed from Samsung. Let's talk cameras. So here are some photos taken on the Realme 8 Pro side by side with photos taken on the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the Samsung Galaxy S21. Can you pick the Realme 8 Pro photo out of this lineup? I'm going to give you a moment to look at these and make your decision. So here's what they actually are. Let me know if you guessed that one right. And here are some more photos I took on the three phones so you can see how the Realme 8 Pro compares to these very expensive flagship devices. They're 4 times the price, but are they 4 times better when it comes to camera quality? Let me know in the comments below. So I think you'll agree what you're getting here is very close to flagship level cameras, but on a phone that costs a quarter of the price. And Realme have taken this up a notch with some camera software features that enhances their shooters' firepower. For example, because you have this 108 megapixel sensor behind the primary shooter, you can do a 3x digital zoom without losing any details. Just by cropping in, it's still capturing a very sharp picture. Then you've got the latest version of Ultra Nightscape for nighttime photography, which works pretty well as well. You've got a macro lens, which is quite fun to play around with, and you can shoot in the full 108 megapixels if you want to. There's also a starry mode for astrophotography, and I heard that there will be a tilt shift mode as well. So all in all, the Realme 8 Pro is an all-rounder, but it does have a couple of strong suits, one of them being photography, the other one being the design. This is very unique, very eye-catching. If you want to stand out in a crowd, this is the way to go. I am planning on testing out the other camera features and testing this against other phones. Let me know if you want to see a full comparison with this versus the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the Samsung S21. If you want to see that, I'll make it for you. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. It's the easiest way to support this channel. And if you just subscribed, you're now one of the finest subscribers known to man. And check out this video on screen right now. It's the X3 Super Zoom, where I zoomed at the moon. See you in the next one. Love you later.